And we're live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the DFS 5-Pack. It is Thursday, the 17th of September. And what do we got going today? Not one, not two, but three sports. We got NFL, NBA, MLB. We got a showdown slate that we're going to talk about here. We got MLB with a very, medium-sized slate. And then we got NBA playoffs. Game 2, Celtics, Miami. This is going to go 7. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a hell of a series. I am pumped to talk sports ball with you today, Mr. Bellman. Let's talk football, though.
I am it's so many sports going on right now. We talked about, making videos last night. I had a lot going on, wasn't able to, but you mentioned making a showdown video, and I was like, sweet. We're going to talk over this Heat Celtics game tonight. And then I was lying down, and I was like, oh, wait, I completely forgot about NFL. Just crazy with how much stuff is going on right now.
Especially since you are stuck in this poor situation in your life where you have to be a Browns fan. So you would think you would know about your team, right?
Don't rub it in.
That's all right, man. You got an NBA championship a couple years back. Cleveland's been good in baseball for the most part. Let me get my points in where I can. Obviously, the Browns are going to be a weak point of pretty much anybody's sports love and dynamic. That being said, guys, before we jump into who we're looking at on the DK Showdown NFL slate tonight, let's talk about the overlay promo that we started yesterday. And I do want to reiterate, this is for brand new overlay players, not for people who are already playing on the website and something like that. We'll honor the couple of you guys I talked to yesterday, and I've already set you up on the 5-pack. But moving forward, it's for new overlay players. What it is a cross promotion we're running between overlay and ourselves. If you are a brand new player or if you considered signing up from overlay, go sign up today. Screenshot it when you make your deposit. Send it to me at my email address right there, or tweet it to me, Facebook it to me, however you want it to work. If you do a $50 deposit, you get free 2 weeks of the 5-pack. A $100 deposit will give you a free month. A $500 deposit for you big ballers will be a free annual membership from us. And a $1,000 deposit will get you a free lifetime membership. You just got to show me proof of your deposit. You got to play the money too. You can't just withdraw it. This is a good way to maybe double your money, get a free membership, and everybody wins.
Yeah, you really can't beat those deals. We talked about it yesterday. Kill two birds with one stone. If you're thinking about signing up for overlay, if you're thinking about signing up for the DFS 5-pack, you can't beat it.
All right, next up, guys, subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Thumbs up is appreciated. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody's preview for the AFC Championship game right here. And I'm going to tell you this much. After talking this out on members only, I am Chubb for Chubb today, guys. I think he's going to have a monster game. I think you also get him at lower ownership than you should. Week 1 and week 2 are two different things. In week 1, the Browns had to take on, in my opinion, the second best team in football. They got blasted early and often because the Ravens are really good, and they got stuck in a situation where they had to go Kareem Hunt heavy because they needed somebody who's better in the passing game. I don't think that's the case today. I think that the Browns are going to win this game. They are 6-point favorites for a reason. I think Nick Chubb sees more touches today than Kareem Hunt. I like them both. Hint, hint on what's coming up next. But I like Chubb in cash, GPP. And I feel like he should be 90% owned, but I think you're going to get him closer to 50 would be my guess.
I love the point of how much Stefanski wants to run it. Talked it over on the members only video. He's also really good. This is a great spot for the Browns to lay the hammer down. Burrow's second game ever, first road game, and it comes on a Thursday night after a tough loss 3 days later. The Browns need to play well in this game, and if they're going to play well, it's going to be on the back of this O-line and Nick Chubb. We like him a lot here. Actually coming in with lower projected ownership than a lot of the other big names on this slate, so even better for us. We both like him a lot. I know I'm certainly thinking about captaining him if I play this slate, and I know you are too.
I do think that it's very easy to see week 1 of the NFL and just assume that's what continues. And Kareem Hunt's really good. So it's no shock that anybody likes him. Again, we're about to touch on him here momentarily. But the game script for me is going to dictate who the more successful Browns running back will be on a weekly basis. On the games that they win, and again, they're 6-point favorites tonight for a reason, I think Nick Chubb is the guy. On games where they're going to be behind, I think you're going to want to get Kareem Hunt in your roster. And this is also a game where, let's just jump right into it. Yeah. I think both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are very viable, and I think you can play both of them. My bold call tonight is that the Browns run the ball over 30 times between these two guys, and they rush for over 200 yards between them. We saw in week 1, a lesser running team in the Chargers than the Browns was able to run it for about 5 yards a clip, and they had over 30 touches as well.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on it with Chubb. Like, if the Browns are going to be good, in my opinion, it's going to be, on the back of this O line and the running backs, like I said. And Hunt is another guy that's really good. The Browns might have the best running back duo in the NFL. I think you can make a strong case for that for sure. Both these guys could be top 10 backs in the league for sure. I'm a huge Hunt fan. I think the Browns have success moving the ball here. I think the Bengals struggle to move the ball, which gives the Browns more offensive possessions. I love both running backs here. I think that the Browns are playing with the lead, which makes us love Chubb. But I think that Hunt is a guy that Baker Mayfield trusts. He's a guy that they want to get involved. And I think a lot of people won't want to play both of them. And I love the idea of playing both. I don't just think it's in play. I love it.
I think that you mentioned they're the best two running backs in football. I think they're really only rivaled by Gore and Balaj and probably Robinson and Thompson down in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about them. Better than the Robinson, whoever's the backup there in Jacksonville.
Definitely, guys. So, again, I think they're both wildly in play. If you envision the game going differently, and if you think that not only does Cincinnati stay really competitive in this game, but maybe that they're ahead, then play Hunt over Chubb. I think that the game script in Cleveland is going to be dictated, or the who plays in Cleveland is going to be often dictated by the game script. And I agree that I see Cleveland about a 6-point favorite in this one at home on a short week. I think they are the slightly better football team. And I think Chubb's going to have himself a day, but I still think Hunt gets double-digit touches and potentially hits pay dirt as well.
Yeah, and honestly, the Browns should be much better than the Bengals this year. I'm not saying they are right now, but I think that that's a possibility. Doesn't seem like that after week one, but I'm hoping that the Browns kind of lay the wood tonight.
Yeah, Stefanski's MO is run the ball. And if Cleveland plays well here, they are going to run it. He's not somebody who's like, oh, I got to get the passing in too. He's like, if we're running it and we're running it well, we're going to keep running it. Simple.
Yep.
All right. Now, the flip side of that, let's take a look at the Cincinnati Bengals. One of my other favorite plays on the slate, though, is going to be A.J. Green of the Bengals. So, in a slow, boring game week one, A.J. Green still took down 9 targets. I believe, he caught 5 for 51. Obviously, it says it right there. Almost doubled all the next closest guys on Cincinnati for target share. I love that for this week. I expect Cincy's going to have to throw the ball. We kind of touched on this earlier, but Cleveland, week one, against a vastly superior running game than what anything Cincinnati has, was really only able to run it at 3 yards per clip with Dobbins and Ingram, who were, Dobbins scored, I think, twice, but they did not have a great week running the ball. They got to him via the pass and via Lamar Jackson using his legs a little bit. I think Cincinnati is in a position where they have to throw it. And while A.J. Green isn't the, round 1 or 2 wide receiver in fantasy picks that he was a couple of years ago, he's still pretty good. I mean, this guy's still got the size. Maybe the speed's down a little bit. He's still pretty good at the game of football. Still excellent body control. And I think he sees at least 9 targets again this week. And I think he'll make the best of them. And I'm expecting at least 13 DK points tonight.
I think it's unknown right now how good he is. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could all bet good money he's not as good as he once was, but he's still a better, top 25 wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he's got a lot left in him. He looked pretty smooth last week. I've always been a big fan of his. When he was, at his peak, he was a true number 1 wideout. I mean, that's just what he was. Top five wide receiver in the game, probably. Do you agree?
Agreed. I mean, maybe the bottom end of the top 5, but that's still pretty darn good. And maybe you could make a case in a couple of those years he was top 3.
For sure. So I'm with you, man. He's affordable here. We think since he has to throw, he's definitely Joe Burrow's most reliable target. I'm with you here. He just makes a lot of sense in all formats.
Yeah, he's somebody that I can tell you on public broadcast here on YouTube with however many people watch this, I will say with certainty makes my lineup tonight.
Cool.
All right, next up. So we touched on a couple of our key pieces. We want to talk about some kind of low-owned, off-the-wall kind of type of plays. I mean, you guys all know who's in play today. You guys know who Jarvis Landry and Joe Mixon and Odell Beckham. You all know who these guys are. Let's talk about a couple other guys that might go a little under the radar that are min-price that you could potentially use as lower-owned guys, also to help you get 5 studs in your lineup. Let's talk about Mike Thomas of the Cincinnati Bengals, number 80, literally min-priced at $200 this week. What's to like here? I mean, there's a couple things to like. This is not a must play by any stretch of the imagination. He had 3 targets week 1. That's not a lot, but you only need 1 catch for 10 yards to hit value on $200. You like this because you expect Cincinnati to have to throw the ball this week. And while he's their number 4 wide receiver, He did see 3 targets. He saw a decent number of routes run for, a guy that's $200 priced. He has 6-point dogs. You expect Cincinnati to have to throw a ball in this game. Again, obviously not a must, but I have no problem thinking he could easily get you 4 or 5 DK points tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. We're going to talk about another guy in the similar vein. And I wish there were better high-priced players on this slate because I have a lot of interest in playing both these guys. Not that I expect them to do a lot, but I expect Cincinnati to be throwing here. Thomas isn't great, but he saw few targets last week. Expect a similar trend. All of a sudden, he catches a couple of those for 40 yards, and it's looking like, it's a great play. He doesn't need to do half that to be a solid play 200.
If you play around with roster construction, you can captain a stud, play 4 other good plays, and then roll with one of these cheap guys. Mm-hmm. And the next guy up we're going to talk about is Harrison Bryant of your Cleveland Browns. I think we have a friendly internal 5-pack bet tonight that I'm going to take Thomas and you're going to take Bryant, and we're going to bet on who has the bigger week. Again, 2 catches for 20 yards probably wins that bet. So it's not one we're putting a lot on or anything like that. I just think it's kind of fun when you got little things like that. It's like an overlay question. But your boy Njoku landed on the IL this week. Bryant had 2 targets last week, and Njoku, who had 14.1 DK points. Not saying you need to fill it because you have a number 1 tight end in Austin Hooper, but I think Bryant's got the opportunity to go out there as a number 2 tight end tonight, see a couple targets in his own right.
Yeah, agreed, man. So Bryant was the number 1 tight end in college last year. Won all the tight end awards. He's good, and now his role is going to be increased with Njoku out. There's already a lot of talk that he might have moved above Njoku, in preseason, training camp, et cetera. I think that if it had been a normal offseason, he might have. Rookies, et cetera, they didn't have enough time with the quarterback. Well, now he's going to be thrown into the fire, excuse me. Hooper's obviously the top guy, but in a game where I think the Browns are moving the ball, it's like the flip side of the Mike Thomas point. We talked about this in the first only video, and you can make a strong case for both sides. For Bryant, I do think that since he struggles to move the ball a little bit more, especially at first, I think the Browns are up in this game, but that means that they're going to be throwing later, so it makes you like Thomas. For me, I think for Harrison Bryant, I think that the Browns are playing with a lead probably, which makes me like their running game more, but I also think they move the ball better. So I like Bryant in that regard. I think both of them are firmly in play. Not going to be shocked if both of them have 0. Not going to be shocked if both of them have 10.
I think we agree that Bryant's the better player, right? I mean, neither one of these guys is exactly loaded with NFL experience, but Bryant, as you just mentioned, with all of his college accolades, is the better player, but that Thomas isn't the better game script. So you're right, they could both easily have 0. I am not calling either of these cats a must, especially with how guys are priced tonight. You don't necessarily need guys like this either. But if you want to go like 5 stud heavy, they are at your disposal. Leave $1,000 on the table. We played around with builds on the members only video, and we religiously ended up with like $1,000 to $1,200 in a final spot. That's where you could use a guy like this. Not a must. They're both risky, but also low risk because they take almost up no of your salary.
And I also think that this is a night with low scores. So the NFL always surprises you. You never know when you're going to get those games like 35-28 that just come out of nowhere. That could happen. Browns, Bengals, why not? But when I look at this game and I predict what's going to happen, I just think a slower, running game for the Browns. Both offenses aren't great. So I'm not expecting like tons of touchdowns in this game. I don't know about you.
I was thinking Browns win 51-49, so apparently it doesn't sound like you agree.
No, it does not.
No, I also don't think that's the case. I kind of picture Cleveland winning this game. As mentioned in members, only like 24-17, 24-13, something like that.
Yes, same.
Okay. All right, guys, that's what we got for today. We'll hit you up with some baseball in a little bit. We got a lot of things going on over here with 3 Sports Rolling. Thank you for all the viewership. Thumbs up is always appreciated. Memberships are available through the website or by signing up via those deposits via overlay that we had discussed.
Thanks, guys.